Welcome back to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and I'm here again with my beautiful co host, Suzanne Ross. And we're talking about the incredible event that is coming up in Sedona, September 19th to 21st. That is Sedona Transcendence Retreat. Suzanne, tell us about this event.
Well, for this event, Alan, it's all about psychics, channelers, and mediums who are going to be demonstrating their gifts on stage, in workshops. They'll be teaching their techniques, and even going out on the land into Sedona's sacred vortex sites to guide journeys. And this is the first time I've really included mediums. And so that's going to be exciting to see how we can connect into these higher realms where the angels and our past loved ones are supporting us from higher realms. And so that's going to be exciting. Of course, we have the channelers, Lisa Royal Holt, Vincent Jenna, Kelly Palmatier, she's a medium, Matt Pond, the I Love You guy, Yafi Yer, Allison Carmani. Yesterday we interviewed Robin Jelinek, and today we are so honored to have Ann Tucker. Ann is a trance channel for the angelic realms, and she is the author of the 9 Angelic Frequencies series. So let's bring Ann on. Thanks, Alan, for having us both on your show today.
It's great to work with you and all the interesting people you bring in. And you have some amazing information for us. You want to give us
Thank
a little background about, and then we can go into like some of the messages that you have to deliver.
Yeah, yeah. You would background on me or on the messages that I've gotten. What do you want? What do you?
Well, first on you, like how did you get to be like an angelic
Yeah,
channel?
yeah. All right. So I've been on my journey for quite a while now. It's been years as I worked as a healer. I did not know I was a trance channel in the beginning. I started out as a clairvoyant healer, clairsentient healer, claircognizant, and then one day I went to go meditate. I sat in my usual spot. And then all of a sudden, it felt like my guides were sitting right on me. It felt like there was 200 pounds sitting on my face. And I could barely breathe, and I did not understand what it was. And it went on for 6 months. The minute I would close my eyes to meditate, boom, pressure, such intense pressure. And it took me 6 months to figure out that they were not trying to come in, they were trying to lift me up. And so at that point, I went up, and then it was a long process going forward to get to the point where I am now. But they were bringing me up to the angelic realm, and that is where I now connect. I bring them back down with me, and they speak through my vocal cords. Yeah, so it's been a journey, always changing journey. And I can't hear you. You're muted.
When did this start for you? When did it happen?
Oh, let's see. That must have been, I want to say maybe eight years ago, maybe 10 years ago that first happened. And then it was still to get to where to the point where they were actually speaking through my vocal cords. That was another couple years after that. It was a process. There's no manual. There's no YouTube instructions on how to channel the angels. So I bumbled in a big way. It took me a year or so to actually get to the point where I could bring through the messages. Yeah.
Just love the way you describe that, Anne, because isn't that the truth about us ascending into the divine, but then bringing the divine down to earth? That's such a
Yes.
beautiful way of expressing that. Bless you
Oh,
for
thank
doing
you.
that.
Thank you so much.
It's just angels you channel, or are you just calling them angels? Or are they just higher dimensional beings?
They asked me to refer to them as angels. And the very first time they came through, they did give me a specific name because I asked. I was like, who are you? And what is this? And what am I doing? But they like me to refer to them as angels. And there are different ones, different energies that come through at different times. But they want me to refer to them just as the angels because they want me to think of them as a collective, because we are trying to move they want me to get away from the concept of identity and into the concept of understanding us as a wholeness, how we can participate, how there can be different energies and there still be one voice. So they refer to themselves as an essence. They say that they are everywhere, that we think of angels as being like, this is Archangel Michael and this is Archangel Gabriel. And what they say is that they are actually everywhere, that they are an essence, and that if you were to call, for example, how is it that Archangel Michael can be in every place at once? It's because he is in all angelic essence, and you can call upon him, and it's like, imagine that he like congeals into person, into form, and here he is, and then when he's done, he dissipates back out, so he can come into form and he can leave. So yeah, so it's really different from how we think of things.
Not beings that have ever incarnated. That's sort of what is that what you're saying?
No, there are angels. Well, so here's what's fascinating. You've heard of having, everybody has a guardian angel, and that is super true. What we don't usually understand is that a guardian angel incarnates with us. So it is an incarnation for them. They're actually physically attached to our bodies, that they come in at the same time we come in. And so an angel can incarnate, but they usually incarnate as a guardian angel. And you will have some angels who also incarnate into human form, but that's much more rare. It does happen though. I am positive of that, but it's not a common thing. That's why a lot of times. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Lorna Byrne a lot. Do you know Lorna Byrne?
Yeah, I've met her.
She's fantastic. She talks about guardian angels, but she doesn't have that concept of incarnating with the person. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So your angels have some important messages for us, right? Is that what you're going to be sharing in Sedona? But I hope, can you give us a little taste, me and Suzanne and everyone watching, some taste of these messages?
Yeah. I'd love to. Yeah. The angels, their biggest concern at this time is absolutely the shift in consciousness that we're going through. And so their messages, they bounce around a little bit, but there's core themes are always there. And on one hand, they want us to know what's coming, because what they don't want to have happen is to have events around us, chaos happen around us, and for us to be caught flat-footed, because it's essential that we stay in the frequency of love. It's essential that we understand that everything that's happening is being guided, and that all of this is necessary. It's a necessary unwinding so that we can let go of the structures, let go of what's currently holding humanity in place. We need to have freedom in order to have change. So it's a process of devolving the current status quo. And that's going to be really hard for a lot of people. So they are really coming in, trying to give us as much as advance warning, as much understanding, so that we're ready to let go of the way things have been willingly, knowing that we're heading to something so much better. And
what have you been saying? I mean, before you channel, what do you remember that you said to, I mean, in a good way, warn us, but tell us, what do
yes, like what's coming on the horizon? Oh gosh. I mean, if I say it out of context, it can sound frightening, but it's not meant to be. Like we know, all of us who are in these circles in our spiritual, we've all heard about a lot of these things, that there will be going forward, and some of it has already happened. Some of the things they've been warning about have already come to place. It's almost like they've been dropping breadcrumbs, and now we can see, they talked about COVID, they talked about supply chain problems, and they specifically talked about truck drivers abandoning their routes, and they talked about the banking crisis and all these things that have happened. But now we are heading into a period where the U.S. starts they said it would lose its political hegemony, which has already been happening. And the loss of the strength of the dollar, but we're heading into a time when the U.S. itself falls apart, where it's no longer the United States anymore, that it's a divided country. And that then opens the door to greater global conflict. So we go through a period of accelerated chaos. We have political turmoil, we have war, and then all of this kind of comes to a crescendo with a very significant, very large, what they call the Earth Rift, which is it will be a natural disaster. They said that will be heard. There'll be no question when it happens, it will be heard around the earth. And this will be significant enough that it causes everyone to kind of drop their weapons and look at each other and realize, and this happens near, or I don't know if it's at the same time, they just said in the middle, they have specific language. They say in the middle of the ruckus, as they calls it, in the middle of the ruckus, there will be an amazing flash of light that comes. And they say it's a solar energy. It's not nuclear. Some people get confused about that. This is a beneficial energy that comes to the planet, that it radiates through the entire planet, that no one has to worry about missing it. You don't have to worry that if you're in the basement that day that you're going to miss out. Like, it will soak in. Everyone will receive this energy. And this energy is potent enough. And they've been telling us, they actually warned us just a couple days before this last giant solar storm series came and they said, we'll be getting these energies will be hitting now through November. So we can expect, they told us it's coming, and then boom, crazy solar energies. But this final sort of coup de grace, the big one, happens at the height of the ruckus, and it shifts us, it lifts us. And it's not a one and done. It's not a thing where this happens and everyone is changed instantly. We have the remainder of our natural lives to make the shift. But everybody gets a boost. Everybody gets lifted. And the net result is that of all of this, and especially of the big flash of light, is that we start to open up to our sixth sense, to our ability, and we start to become telepathic, emotionally telepathic with one another. So the goal is to move us towards world peace, to get to a place where we value each other, that we can't ignore one another because we feel each other's feelings. Think about how different it would be in negotiating between two countries if everybody could feel the other person's feelings. You wouldn't treat the other person the same way.
Right. So what time frame are they giving us for the great event and for all these
That is the magic question of the day. When? And they have given me sequences, but they have not given me specific time frames. My personal guess, and my guess is personal, when I have been wrong before on my personal guess, the angels, as long as I go with what they say verbatim, it's always accurate. When I interpret, I am often wrong, but I think that it's going to be in 2026. That's my personal belief, second half sometime, but that is not channeled. That is my personal belief.
Well, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it confirms, but this is some of the things other people have said, but this is the most concrete statement of that change. And people have predicted solar flashes. And so I think it's very, very exciting. Thank you, Anne.
Yeah.
I talk to the angels themselves, though. Can we?
Yep, absolutely. All right, buckle up.
What do you do to prepare for that transformation?
So I'll lead us, if you're willing, I'll lead us, all three of us, through a grounding exercise, and that helps in terms of the energies coming in. It also helps me to get into my trance state, and then they will just speak through. So, All right. So go ahead and close your eyes. And go ahead and drop down from your tailbone a nice thick root that goes down through the floor and down into the ground. And follow it down with your mind as it grows and extends, growing deeper and deeper into the earth. Following it down where it's dark and cool, extending longer and longer. And follow it all the way down to the very, very center of the earth. And when it reaches that center point, feel the root sprout and anchor itself in. And as it does, notice that the root is pulling gently and becoming taut. And feel as that tautness moves all the way up the root. And all the way up your spine, anchoring you securely to the earth. And I'll go ahead and bring in the angels. Blessings, blessings. We encounter you now as you have come from far away, celestial bound. Celestial bound, we have found you today embodied, incarnated at this time in the present moment, on the precipice of a new beginning, wondering, how do I make myself, renew myself into the new and current form of what I am? How do I rebound my energy, rebound into the new of what is beginning? And we are here to share information. Yes, information. You are wondering, how can I prepare myself for what is coming? How may I be in the new instantiation of what is to begin. And we would say for yourself and for all who are considered that there cannot be a time frame within which you are living that you are not already prepared, for you are one with what is occurring. You are in the expression of this new light. You are already within it. We see you as you will be, as you will transform, and you are there now. There is no possible expression of your life that cannot begin concurrently with the all that is already occurring. You are of this moment, of this time, and you are here by choice to exist simultaneously with the change that occurs external and internal to your own body. You are becoming. The degree of change shall be measured within your unconsciousness, within what you shall feel and determine. It shall be a matter of choice, a matter of willingness to conform to the new light, to the new beginning. It shall be determined by the direction and velocity, but with which you shall let go of what has been. And this is all that is required. There is no more circumstances that must be brought in. There is no more undertaking that you must consider. There is only this, to be in the preparation of self as a vessel of light, in the understanding that you may carry all that is entailed upon you should you only be willing to let go of what has been. We are prepared for your questions.
Well, this is very interesting times, and it feels like there's a building up of energies, but it's social, political, but very personal. So how can people notice this personal transformation in their own lives? What should they look for in themselves?
The process of transformation begins with destruction. It begins with the pulling apart of what is. The introduction of new energy begins transformation. The introduction of new energies creates chaotic movement of what is. The unwinding, the experience within their own lives, of their own experience, that there is more chaos than there has been. The understanding that there is the more frequent understanding of themselves in conflict, in an experience of themselves having loss, sudden dispersal of what has been counted upon. There is great change amongst yourselves, and this is a measure of the frequency of light that is entering. The greater that you are illuminating your own consciousness, this will then encourage the dissolution of old thought, of old forms and old realities. And this takes part in the chaos that is unfolding for all. Do you understand us?
I understand what I think you're saying. But what about people's personal work? What about their life? Is that all going to change, or do they keep doing what they've been doing?
There will be an increasing amount of change for everyone. This is what we are referring to, that the individual may measure the change that they are a part of because their own worlds are changing. There will be a greater and increasing velocity of change as we become nearer and closer to the experience of everyone as transforming. However, we would depart from this in your understanding to explain that there will be occurrences in the world that are vast and affect many, but not all occurrences will affect everyone in all ways. There will be many things occurring, and only one may take place where you reside and where you are standing. Thus, you may experience the world differently in one aspect, such as a weather transformation, an experience of life where your governmental structures are existing in a new form. But this may not both occur at the same time or in the same location. Do you understand us?
Yes, I'm asking, should people keep going on with their lives the way it is, or should they do something drastically different?
We suggest most respectfully that others should continue to invest in their journeys as though life will continue, because it shall. And the energies that they emit, that they create their experience with, will converge into the new reality and take on new form. Should they decide to withdraw from the chaos completely, to house and home and interact no more, there will not be the continuation into the flow of what they want. Therefore, we would suggest that though the structures of life will look different, the energies will remain. And we do suggest that they invest fully, completely, to bind themselves to this plane, to continue to invest in a world that will evolve, and trust they will carry it forward with it.
Well, that's good news. So if we're already doing something to increase our vibration, and I don't know what that would be in your terms, we should be well prepared. But how do we start to increase or change our vibration to prepare for these times?
We are so pleased you have asked this question. We wish to say that healing your own light is of the utmost importance. This time and space that you are in, this exact moment of new beginning, is the most potent time that has ever occurred in the history of the human experience. It contains within it access to all that you have ever been. This is not the case for any prior incarnation. At this moment, you have full access to all of your own history, to all that you have ever been, have ever thought, have ever existed on any plane. And all of that may be brought forward into this moment, into this now. This has not been the case prior to this life. In your past incarnations, you had chosen very carefully which experiences were relevant to the life that you were planning, and brought only those. And very few persons were granted access to the volumes of information available regarding the rest of all that is yourself. But in this time, this moment is unique, where all healing is available to yourself, and the world is replete with beings who have come for the purpose of aiding yourselves. There are many, many, many healers who are here, who are ready to serve. And for the self who wishes to embrace this transformation to the greatest depths of your being, to come through this great fire of rebirth, a soul much brighter, carrying the fullest illumination of your capacity, we would suggest that you invest your energies in facing the depths of your soul and drawing forward into the heart space, without reserve or resistance, all that you have ever felt, to bring it into and through your current being, and draw from this the greatest knowledge of your depths, and release from you all resistance to your own divinity. Do you understand us?
Beautiful. Isn't that Suzanne? Do you have...
It is, and expanding into our multidimensionality and becoming all that we are in this alpha and omega journey feels like a tremendous opportunity at this time, facilitated really by these solar flares that carry these supercharged photonic light for our soul's illumination and expansion.
Yes, 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 yes. There is more energy here now than there has ever been available to yourselves, and even more is coming. Even more is coming now. Take advantage of what is being given, of what is thoughtfully offered, what is carefully selected, emitted, and brought your way to engage yourselves in your depth, to draw you into higher frequencies of expression. You are this, you are the light, and you have chosen to be here for this experience, of healing, of healing. There is no greater opportunity in existence than the one that you are having right now.
Well,
And
how
beautiful that the sun comes up every day and shines on everyone without exception. And then you're saying that everyone is going to be uplifted and elevated by the sun's radiant love and light during this time.
Yes, yes, yes. And we say, do not fear for your loved ones. Do not fear for they who choose nothing, who choose no one, who choose not to experience what is available to them now. Fear not. Fear not that they will be left behind, that you will lose them. Fear not. This is not the case. There are many who carry the vibration of I fear to move forward, for I will lose what I love. And there are persons that you are holding who you fear will not embrace what is coming. And we say they may continue to live alongside you, although they may separate from you vibrationally. You will experience them in continued form as you have been. However, when this life is through, when the voyage has ended, they must become the frequency of the new earth should they wish to return here. If they do not, they may choose otherwise. There is no judgment in this choice. There is nothing wrong with a soul wishing to continue in its karmic expression. This is merely a creation of the desire to continue to grow. Thus, do not feel for them that they are lost, for they are not. But not all will return to the earth. However, in this life, you will feel yourselves united and continued in the relationships that you have developed as much as you should choose to. Do you understand us?
Yes. Thank you. But how do we drop into this depth that you're talking about? I mean, we all want to, but is there a way that you suggest we can do that?
There is the opportunity to return to yourself in whole, in balance, by understanding the conceptual configuration of your bodies, that you are in division within yourself between your masculine expression and your feminine expression. And these two halves are at war internal. And the desire for ascension, for this shift in consciousness, must be brought about by the union of these two halves. They must be brought into harmony, into balance. And by so doing, you do activate the higher chakras and connect more fully to the truth of what is you. And this endowment of grace then does enter the body and magnifies your presence. This is what is occurring. You may participate in this experience even sooner should you be open to the experience of drawing these parts of yourself into harmony. And the method by which you can accomplish this is through healing of these aspects of your own self, through those aspects of your divinity which have been forgotten.
Healing the aspects of the male and the female, you're saying, is the way.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Is there and how do we do that though? Where do we start?
There are many, many methods of which we have offered some and will continue to do so. There are many methods of healing. The instrumentally important focus is on those aspects of yourself brought forward between the time period of your taking on form and your age of 7. Within these windows of opportunity, you have brought into this earth life all that anchors you here, all that is your karmic construction. And these then devolve from your center and draw you out of balance, recreating for you those aspects of you that you wish to retreat from. And through the application of deep self-reflection, aided can be aided by healing methods, or can be done through deep personal meditation. Although we would advise that there have been many, many, many thousands of years that have occurred already, and doing it alone has not always served you. That having help, having assistance, seeking out healing that resonates with your own perception is your fastest guide to achieving your own greatest depth.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's helpful. I have another question about this event that's coming up. Does it involve extraterrestrials at all? Can you talk about that relationship?
We will there. Yes, there are greater contexts forming on the horizon after peace is held. The frequency of peace must resonate from within you. This is something you can achieve because of the laying down of weapons, which is brought to the forefront at the occurrence of the Great Rift. The Great Rift draws all into the shape of concurrence, where all become enraptured with the concept that humanity must value itself. At the same time, yes, concurrently, there is the aspect of light, which is transforming the planet. And this brings to yourselves a greater depth of feeling, a greater sense of one another, where you are able and capable of meeting each other as full beings, as fully what you are. And this then encourages your prospect of peace. And once peace is determined upon, it is then safe for all other life forms to enter.
So the Great Rift, that sounds like, it's not, do you have a date? Do you have something we can, like a foreshadowing? What can we do? And what time, when is it coming?
We wish to provide yourself the greatest depth of detail. However, schedules do not concern us. We see your world as evolving like spheres that unfold one on top of another. We can interpret your world as having already occurred, as having already happened. And this moment is merely a fragment of that reality that we are experiencing with you. The dialogue of time is outside of where we stand. Therefore, our instructions are related to the stationing of each experience in relationship to one another. We can tell you that the experience of the rift occurs after war has preceded itself, after war has occurred and become more violent. And we are sorry for this. We are sorry for this occurrence. We wish it would not cause the disturbances to your peace that it will. However, it is necessary to purge the violence that occurs. As we have explained, the modality of change is the dissolution of what is. And the energies of violence have long been here, and they must come to the surface and be expelled. They must be expressed through humanity first, and then through the earth herself. For she shall ripple outward in her rage, in her violence, an expression of great force. And this is the earth rift of which we speak. For she is a being such as yourselves, and she must heal herself. This is the reason why the great shift occurs now, for she is the being that drives it. Do you understand us?
Yes. So you mean a great earthquake followed by a solar flare? I mean, after a major world war? I mean, not to be negative, but that's all for the change that is coming. Is that what you mean?
Yes, all will unfold for the purpose of bringing you forward, bringing you into the great new beginning.
Is there, and there's no time frame for that, that you can see. It's just because it's already happened for you, like you said. So there's no time frame.
Correct. This is not our spoken language. Time frames are not something that we dwell within.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes,
It feels
Suzanne.
like faith in the divine plan. And that's something that I often talk about and reflect upon is that everything that is unfolding on planet Earth is part of a divine plan. And if we have the faith in this divine plan, then we don't judge war and we don't judge things that are unfolding,
Right.
knowing that there's a greater meaning and deeper purpose behind it all that is encouraging everyone to play their specific roles to contribute in the way that they are for this great rift or shift.
This is very, very, very true. And we wish to express that all will be provided for, all will be cared for, none will be lost to this opportunity. All will be carefully held through the passage of what is to occur. All will be provided for.
What about the people involved in the war, though? I mean, all that will
There
will.
is, yes, the potential for suffering at the hand of each other, and this we cannot prevent. There is the potential for harmful effects of these experiences. This is a necessary outcome from what humanity has sown. There has been violence. It must be expunged. It must be expressed. It must be known. This is from and within amongst yourselves. Those who are in the path of destruction will not feel it. It is this that we offer. We may claim your souls before any pain is experienced. And this is how we will ensure that all souls are carefully guided from trauma, from the experience of themselves in painful, painful undertaking. Do you understand us?
Yes, yes. So after we go through this and the wars and then the earthquakes maybe and the light, this will be really the new time.
A new beginning shall have occurred, and not all will move so gently. Be aware that not all will embrace the new reality as it is forming around them. Some will be in resistance, and resistance is the folly that detains them within the context of what is painful. There is nothing about the new frequency that is hardship. There is only hardship that is manufactured within the heart of one who yearns for something that is lost. But there will be those who are still existing on earth, who are still incarnated, who resist what is occurring, who wish to hold what was. There will be more. There will be more as time goes forward, who see what is becoming and who wish to be part of, to partake in this new structure of reality, and will seek yourselves. They will seek yourselves in the desire to be included. They will speak unto you. How may I transform? How will you show me how I may do the same? And these are opportunities. These are gifts that may be spoken, that may be shown to one another, to draw all who wish, all who desire to come forward, to come into the truth of what they are. They may be guided more easily, for times will be forming around them that support their higher nature.
So coming together in Sedona at this Transcendence retreat, we are people already at the frequency that we will be seeking.
There
That
are
those.
many ways of achieving this, but as yet there are very few who are there. Many have more that will be shown, more that is great and wonderful and worthy of their effort that will come to them. All will be known in the future. All will be known to themselves. As of now, there are many who will be there that we are excitedly anticipating knowing, and they are open to what is coming. They have been shown their path. They are pursuing their own highest frequencies, and they are open to receive all that will be given.
But
I
we're
get
prepared. Go ahead,
sense
Suzanne.
in groups I get this sense that we activate one another. And that's one of the things that inspires me to bring people together, seekers who are like minded and heart centered, soul inspired, because I feel like together we amplify one another's frequencies. But also, it's the love that we share as we expand our hearts. And bringing through the angels and bringing through these extraterrestrial guides who are truly in love with humanity and in service to humanity just adds so much to the experience. And so, from my heart, I just want to thank the angels who are coming through you now, and also just you personally, and for being a vessel for that, so open to it.
We are delighted to play our part in the process of your own recognition of the divine beings that you are. We are delighted. We are honored to participate. Thank you.
I have a question though before you go. I mean, is this your main message? I mean, because it sounds like you've said it before, and of course it needs to be said again and again, but is there more that you're here to give us at this time?
There is always more. There is always more. There is never not enough. There is always more. There is always more to be learned about yourself. There is more to be learned about your world. As you evolve into what is coming, you will discover a new way and method of being, living without the construct of karma that has been your enslavement. And you will become a free, wondrously free being who learns to exist at the precipice of the new start of every moment and learns to experience that in an entirely new state of consciousness. And there is much yet to be learned about this. And we will teach, we will show, we will demonstrate, we will help.
Beautiful. Can you give us one more little glimpse of the future? Like, what will our planet actually look like after all this takes place? How will we live as human beings?
There will be a great continuum that evolves from amongst you. The understanding of yourself as individual, yes, which is an important aspect of what must be brought forward from the past, but now part of a union amongst one another, and all shall be held within the sacred pact of understanding yourselves as guardians, caretakers of this great earth to which you belong. And it will reform your thoughts in all ways about all things. You become something much more centered within yourself and connected within the collective. It is a new kind of duality that you begin to explore, a method of expression of your creative self. It will become much more enjoyable than your lives have been up until now. Something beautiful to look forward to. Life becomes a blessing in more ways than we can recount.
Beautiful. That is really fantastic. It's a vision I've had that the future will be everyone's activation of their creative potential. That will be the flowering of humanity.
Yes, yes, it is this. We thank you.
Thank you.
We say goodbye.
Wow. That's
Hi.
fantastic. That's
So what
great.
I missed?
You'll have to play it back. But it was wonderful and so inspiring and so empowering, giving us hope for this brighter future. And it's always been like, even in the Bible, it says like the patience of the saints will move through this tribulation, but they'll then be able to walk through the fire and not get burned as they enter the portal to a new earth. And it's just all so incredibly inspiring. Thank you.
Crazy thing is, it's all real. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that we've heard from so long ago, there have been a lot of misunderstandings around it. Like a lot of ways where different religions or different voices have taken these messages and made them scary or made them exclusive, where it's like only these people are going to get helped and everybody else is gonna, none of it's like, just if you just take away all the human mishmash and just take what's really beautiful about what we've been told through all of our different sources of wisdom, It's really incredible what we're moving into. Absolutely incredible.
Wow. Well, this is some of the best channeling I've heard these last 2 days, Suzanne.
Thank you.
And this is your job now, right? You're going around the on podcasts doing all this, and I'd love to interview you again sometime. And definitely, so at the conference that's coming up, the Transcendence Retreat, is this what you're going to be doing, or is there more? Do you do other things besides
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, so we'll be bringing in the angels with everybody, so everyone gets to be part of that experience, which is so cool because when they come through, a lot of people will feel them. People have a very personal experience of the angels, so that is just I love that because they are infinite. They can be with every single person at once, so people will have physical experiences of them during, feel them on their shoulder or feel them. It's just super cool. But then we'll do a workshop, which is going to be understanding because as the angels talk about, we are moving towards a new way of living where we're going to be, it's all about learning how to manifest. It's all about learning to live in a dharmic way where we are existing in the moment and learning how to be as manifestors, as divine manifestors. So we're going to be talking about the 7 different soul types, which are how we learn to understand our own unique gifts as manifestors. So that'll be a workshop we'll be doing together. And then I'll also be, Suzanne is setting me up for to have a fantastic experience of bringing through peace bathing with the angels out in nature. I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited.
What does that mean? Peace baiting. What does that mean?
So when the angels heal us, a lot of
Over a
times,
peace bath, Alan.
yeah, exactly, a bath and peace. They bring us, they raise our frequency, they bring it up to a specific vibration, which is the vibration of peace, which is like absolute stillness. And from that space, healing is easier. It's almost like you kind of wash away all of your everything's and it's just a clearer slate. So they call it peace bathing because we're bathing in the frequency of peace.
I want to do that, Suzanne. That sounds.
Me too. I know. We'll all bathe together. And can you, will the audience be able to ask the angels questions in the way that Alan and I have asked questions during this interview?
We can certainly do that. However you want to structure it works for me. So they usually have something to say when they first come in, but they're always happy to chat.
I love this smaller retreat that I do in the fall for that reason that, in this venue, the stage is really close to all of the guests and it can be very interactive in nature. And so this is like an immersive, interactive experience for both the guests and the presenters, and we really get to connect. And so I'm so delighted to hear that the audience can interact with the angels.
Oh, yeah. It'll be awesome. It'll be fantastic. Yeah.
I think this will get people there to buy tickets to Sedona, September 22nd, Sedona Transcendence Retreats. Because actually, I'm thinking I don't want to miss this, Suzanne. I'm thinking, yes, this sounds fantastic.
Well, we would love to have you there, of course, Alan. And we just would love for all of you to join us here in Sedona. It's SedonaTranscendenceRetreat.com, and our early bird special actually ends on June 1st. So I just want to inspire people to reserve their seats now for this, and also to engage in the workshops and outdoor journeys that we offer, as well as the CE5 that we've now added. And Anne, you're welcome to come along on our CE5 experience as well.
Thank you so much.
Well, the angels in there too.
I was just thinking that.
Which part of the country do you live in, Anne? Where are you located?
I'm in the Northwest. I'm in Seattle, like near Seattle, Washington.
Lots of beautiful angels.
It is
Yeah.
really beautiful. Yeah, I've been up here most of my adult life, and yeah, I'm accustomed to the wet. I'm mossy on one side, so.
So this is a funny question, but since Alan had asked about like angels and ETs and what's that connection, do angels ever travel in crafts? I know they're probably more transparent in nature, but
Yeah. They don't need vehicles because they're like I said, they're like an essence. So like, it's just like you think of like, what is dark matter? Like, it's just kind of everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like angels are literally everywhere other than the specific guardian angel that actually incarnated with you. So that is the angel that's like behind you. That's a physical embodiment, but we can't see it. But there is an angel there that is the one that incarnated with you. But the other angels, like how is it that the angels can? How is it that everyone on earth can be, speaking to the same angels and they all have real experiences? And there really are different consciousnesses within the umbrella of the angels. So there really is an Archangel Michael personality. There is a being, but he exists in, it's just like, it's almost like you think about it like the cells in your body, that you are filled with gazillions of cells. So imagine if all of your cells were angels, but within every cell is the information of the whole body, right? Every cell has the whole picture. And so it's like that.
Wow.
Well,
Have you?
wings too, right? So they don't need crafts.
Yeah, exactly. They just can kind of appear. They can just kind of.
Your visual perception, have you had visions of these beings? What have you seen?
Yeah, I have on different times. I am clairvoyant, so I do. But most of the time when I'm channeling, it's funny because if I look up clairvoyantly, I imagine, and they show up. They help me to communicate by using my clairvoyance. So, and they'll show it in ways that I can understand. They'll use metaphors that I can understand. So often, if I look up clairvoyantly when they're coming in, I'll see like an angel coming down a fire pole. It's like, this is the one that's coming today. You know what I mean? And I will sometimes see or feel like if it's a really different energy, because they control the channel, they control who and what comes in. So they're very, very careful about the energies because they've attuned me very carefully to be able to channel their energies. But they have, like, I will occasionally channel Yeshua. There'll be different types of angels that come in. And but they'll show me that when I'm talking, I'm usually kind of over here somewhere, and they're giving me sort of a second track where I'm watching what's happening. So I can't really remember the words very well. If you say them, I'll kind of, oh yeah, I remember a little bit. It's hard for me to hold the words. It's like being super in your right brain. And so they show me visuals because when I'm in my right brain, it's not that hard for me to remember that. So I'll be kind of watching what happens, and they'll be giving me metaphors, and that can be really, really helpful. So after I channel, I can say, yeah, here's how I saw, here's what I saw. And frequently it adds more information, better understanding.
Did you see anything today that when you were talking?
Remind me what you talked about, and then maybe I'll remember something.
Talked all about what you were saying, the rift that's coming, the transcendence, the
They
time.
showed me, they really wanted to emphasize. I saw the picture of them scooping people up. So they were showing people on battlefields, they were showing people in harm's way, and they wanted to give you the feeling or the understanding that there would be literally, they would be scooping people before they feel their injury. People would be pulled from their bodies. So it would be before the body had the trauma and that transferred to the soul, that people would be, and they were showing me that. They were showing me great arms scooping up and just very carefully, very lovingly. And this is so interesting to me because the angels have told me about this in the past. And I only recently made the connection that, there's certain religions that believe in the rapture. They call it, and some of them you are like, oh, we'll be driving in the car and then mom's raptured and she's gone out of the car. And like, that's a belief system. Like, like that is how some people see this transformation happening. But what the angels have explained is, and then some people say it's like, oh, and only the chosen ones, of course, will be raptured. And the angel said, no, it's not that. Everybody has the opportunity to transition. But what this is it means that if there is a situation where many people leave the planet at once, they won't experience it as a death. They experience it as being raptured. They experience it as being taken gently from their bodies and lifted up to, yeah. And then here's another mind blower. Apparently right now, it's already happened. We've reached the turning point where people who pass from now, it's like it started, I think it was a couple weeks ago, but from now until we're done with the shift, people who pass will no longer go through the same death process that we've always been going through. I'm pretty sure this has started now already, that when people die, they are brought into it's like a rapture. They're brought into a space where and it's going to match their belief systems. Like if they're Muslim, they'll be brought to a beautiful enormous mosque. If they're Christian, they'll be brought into a big church or whatever it is. They'll be brought into a space that's a very lovely space, a very holy space with other people. And if they and they from there, time is nothing right there. It's not the same thing, but they will witness the change on earth. And then once it happens, then everybody proceeds on and they choose which way do they want to go. Do they prefer to stay And there's no judgment at all about staying in the karmic construct if they want to do that, because it's a fabulous way to learn about ourselves. And there will be some souls that really feel like they have a lot more to do, that they can learn a lot more if they go that way. And if that happens, though, they have to incarnate on a new planet. And so they'll be brought to another place. And those who are ready to be where Earth is changing, Earth becomes this new consciousness, this higher state of consciousness. Those who are ready will go towards the Earth and will reincarnate here.
But there will be a.
Does that remind you of the train station? It's like a staging area.
It is. It's kind of like a staging area. Yeah, they're basically everybody's held here, and it's like wonderful and fabulous, and but they get to see what happens. So yeah, but that's my understanding. And here's what's crazy about it. The angels told me about this, and they started talking about that a couple of years ago. And then I had another friend who channels, who got a very similar message, who saw it differently, but at the same basic idea. Then just the other day, I was listening on YouTube to this one dream show, and there was a person sharing a dream, and it described exactly that. It described her as her family. She's looking out the window. She sees two great trumpeting angels come in. And then before she knows it, she's transported up into this beautiful cathedral. And there's, banquets and food, and her son comes up, and and she's like, we've been raptured. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Will there also be a rapture for people who stay here, though? It sounds like there will also be a sort of rapture. This event, the rift, will be a sort of rapture, right?
Well, it's kind of a different track. Like if we stay, it's not because we're not meant to suffer. If we stay, we're meant to have this time to help bring as many souls along as we possibly can. It's a healing time. And so those of us who have come here, who have volunteered, which is going to be like everybody at your retreat, Suzanne, it's going to be all volunteers who are there, who are those are the ones they're real, like they're going to be called into action after all this has happened, because my understanding is that the frequency of the world will shift enough that your average person, you will have atheists who will all of a sudden see an angel. And what kind of a crazy, what's going to happen to them when that happens? Like they're going to have a crisis, and they're going to need to know, and I don't know, they will have a better perception of who is on the path and who isn't. Like people will know where to get help, and they'll be looking to you. You know what I mean? Like, how do I shift? How do I get that light that you've got? So it's going to be a busy time, but a really beautiful time being on Earth. And it's going to be really a reset. So, but it's going to be a time period where there will be some people who are very much in resistance, but there's going to be a lot of people who are seeking to make the shift after this great experience happens, and they're going to be looking for help. That's my understanding anyways.
It really will be a transcendence retreat there, Suzanne, that you're putting together. Probably one of many, many, many ones. So, yeah. And thanks so much. Is this your full-time job, or do you work as a secretary somewhere?
No, no, this is it. I mean, I did use it. I actually came from the corporate world, if you can believe it. And, but yeah, this has been full-time for more than a decade now. So I'm very, very blessed that I get to do this all the time.
What do you do? Do you do private readings? I mean, what do you do? How do people find you and all that?
I'm a healer, so I heal in large groups. I specifically focus on healing. I do deep trauma healing. So I have a program called Soul Convergence, which helps people to access this new balancing themselves internally and accessing that higher aspect of themselves. So it helps to embrace the shift sooner. So that, among other things, but that's my main focus in the world right now, is trying to help heal as much as I can.
And so people call you for private sessions of healing and things no
private sessions, only very large groups. And the bigger the group, the better. As Suzanne can attest, when you get a group of people together, right, amazing things happen. And so it's large group healing.
Wow. So how do people find you? What's your website again?
AnnTucker.com. So it's my full name, Ann with an E, AnnTucker.com. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and one more question.
You can find me at Suzanne's event.
September 19th to the 22nd in Sedona.
Yeah.
And I just want to have one more question. Are these actual angels that we call angels, or are they more higher dimensional beings that you're talking to and with? Or are they real angels as we know angels to be?
The angels that I channel, it's a very interesting question. We could probably have a whole long discussion about it, but most of the angels I channel are non-earth angels. So this is like a whole nother thing to like explode the brain, which is that there are specific angels that are responsible for Earth, for keeping the rules of Earth. And it involves non-interference and all the things. But the angels that I channel are from outside of that system, which gives me a lot more freedom in terms of healing and things like that. So, and that's part of the reason why they've come at this time is that it's sort of like take the gloves off. It's time to get serious.
What system are they from? Are they from another universe, another galaxy, another dimension? I mean,
They're from, like, they would say they're from all that is. That they're just not limited to one system. Whereas Earth angels are locked into this. When they became Earth angels, they became locked and tied into the karmic experience of Earth. So they're part of the system and they abide by the rules of the system. So
very interesting. Well, this is fantastic. This really is excellent. Thanks for your work.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Suzanne, for another great person here on the show and at the conference. So really, it's going to be a fantastic gathering. With just you alone would be fantastic.
Wonderful. Isn't it been fun, Alan, meeting these people that are presenting at my event and during these interviews? And with each and every one, we've just been more and more blown away by how beautiful and the messages and the profundity of it all. And everyone just all dedicated to the awakening and ascension and transcendence of humanity. So it's very exciting.
Because these are people who are living it. They are not just talking about it. It's actually embodying it. And that's what I think the transcendence is, an embodiment. You know, people talk about ascension, but we want to embody before we ascend. And so thanks again. Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Subscribe to this channel. Come to the event. Take out a super chat and stay tuned for more of the Transcendence retreat coming up. But we'll be doing more interviews. So great.